going to go ahead and open the meeting. I don't have a gavel, but this is the August 19th meeting of the Miami Valley Communications Council Board. This is a remote teleconference meeting. We'll go through the Pledge of Allegiance next, please.
I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Jenny, will you do the roll call, please? Oh, can't hear you.
Sorry, is that better?
No, yep.
Okay. For roll call, I have Joanne Rao, Centerville.
Here.
Germantown, Brian Walsick.
Here.
Kettering, George Bayless.
You.
Joe Wanamaker, Kettering.
Here.
Kettering, Jackie Fisher.
Here.
Miamisburg, Mayor Collins.
Here.
Miamisburg, Greg Thompson.
Here.
Moraine, Don Burchett.
Here.
Oakwood, Rob Stevens.
Here.
And West Carrollton, Leanne Nash.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Okay, you have a copy, or you should have a copy of the minutes from May 20th. If everybody's had a chance to review it, does anybody have any changes or comments they want to make on the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay. Who seconded it? I saw Leanne and somebody else. Did you catch that, Jenny?
Michelle.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, chair comments. I just have a couple things. First of all, thank everyone for being here. I hope everybody's had a healthy, reasonably happy summer so far. It's not we've got some beautiful weather, which is nice, a nice change. Also, I wanted to mention that MVCC has been undergoing a fairly extensive audit. It's the first full audit in, what, 3 years, I believe, Jay? So it's taking a lot longer.
We had a mini audit last year. That's correct.
Right. And because of the COVID restrictions, it's taken even longer. You know, they've not come into the office. It's been a matter of having to copy reams of paper and scan them and send them, or make copies and have them pick them up. So it's been a very lengthy process. And Leanne and I did meet with Jay and SHEILA with the auditors on a conference call just on Monday. So it was their closing call, and they are wrapping it up, and there should be a final report soon. But they were very complimentary of SHEILA and Jay and the work that they've done and the records that they're able to pull together. So giving us examples where, you know, SHEILA had everything done just right. So I'm very pleased to have heard that. So once we get a copy of the final report, everybody will get a copy. So we'll share that with you. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, and Brian, you may perk up on this, we need a vice chair for next year. This is my last year, and Leanne will be chair next year. She has agreed to do that. Thank you, Leanne. And we'll need a vice chair for Leanne for next year, and then that person would become chair in 2022. So I'm really going to talk it up here. It's a fun job. Brian has done it. I think George has done it. Of course, Greg, you've been vice chair. We've certainly had a number of people participate. Joe, I think you might have done it. At any event, it's not difficult, and we meet maybe 6 to 7 or 8 times a year at the most. So I would hope somebody would be willing to take on that responsibility. And vice chair is even easier. So please consider it. And Brian, I think you're still chair of the nominating committee, which is why I've asked you to think about it. And if somebody's been chair before, they can certainly be chair again. We've had time, in between, obviously, that needs to take place. But please consider it. So that's my only other comment. Then we can move on to old business.
Just several items I wanted to update the board on. We met recently with members of the Trotwood staff to finalize what is a $1.8 million budget for the Trotwood fiber connectivity project. Trotwood plans to adopt legislation in September, authorizing their staff to submit an application for FEMA funds, and then they should have an answer on their funding request by the late fall. So we have put a lot of time and effort into this. I know Trotwood officials very much appreciate this. They feel very confident that they will be funded. So hopefully this is a project that will get underway during the first quarter of 2021. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the partnership we're working on with the Independence Fiber Network. With vacation schedules and other business matters, it's taken a little bit longer than we anticipated in terms of putting together the partnership agreement on the phase 2 build. But we anticipate receiving an initial draft from IFN either tomorrow or Friday of this week. I don't anticipate it will take very long to review and incorporate any changes or edits. And then we hope to have a final draft for your review and consideration in the very near future. I can report that IFN has already ordered fiber for phase 2, as there's about a 4 or 5 month lead time on fiber. And they've also contracted for the engineering work as well. So that is already ready in the works. So we're making good progress there as well. As Joanne mentioned to you under the audit, the only other thing I wanted to add is once again to thank SHEILA for all her good work, and also Jen. As Joanne mentioned, this year's audit was conducted off-site. So where we typically prepare the paperwork and just hand it off to the auditor and have them go through it and then they return it to us, this year, Jen and SHEILA had to spend a lot of time making copies of all that paperwork and passing it along. So it was a very labor-intensive audit for our staff. And I appreciate, again, all of SHEILA and Jen's good work on that. And also, as Joanne mentioned, the auditing staff was very complimentary of all the good work done by the MVCC staff on this year's audit. So thanks again to both SHEILA and Joanne for all their good work. And that's all I have under old business.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions before I move on to legislation? Doesn't look like it. That's good. Okay, we have resolution 2020-006, adopting revised credit card usage and asset depreciation policy. Do we have any discussion on that?
If I could just give a little background, Joanne, that would be probably a little bit helpful for the group.
Okay.
Over the past few years, I think the auditor's office has made it a point to ensure there are checks and balances in place as it relates to credit card usage. As you recall, last October, the board passed a resolution updating MVCC's credit card policies. This year, the auditor recommended that we also list by a separate job title the individuals eligible to use the credit card, and that we also have a policy in place for the use of rewards programs, even though our current credit card does not have a rewards program. We also recommended we add to our depreciation policy the fiber network and building improvements. All of those proposed changes have been shared with the board, and so we're recommending adoption of the proposed resolution.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So move for approval.
Okay. Second? Okay, thank you, Greg. And Brooks? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any nays?
Aye.
That was an aye, right? Brooks? I think it was a little late.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, it was. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. All right. That resolution 2020-006 passed. We have resolution 2020-007, authoring the executive director to sign an extension to the municipal facilities electric aggregation program.
Real briefly, this is an opportunity for us to kind of toot our horn. Some of you may remember going all the way back to 2011, MVCC created an electric aggregation program that pertains to municipally owned facilities and buildings. In the succeeding years, we have had around 25 to 26 participants that benefit by receiving lower electrical rate for those city facilities. The contract has been extended for a number of times to take advantage of further reductions in electrical rates. Our current contract was due to expire next May. However, with the COVID-19 pandemic, there's been a significant downturn in the energy sector. So we are taking advantage of that opportunity and a historically low rate, and we're extending the existing contract into May of 2024. The projected savings for the 26 participating jurisdictions over the life of the contract will exceed $1 million. So this is not an insignificant program. We are recommending that you authorize the executive director to sign an extension on behalf of MVCC so we can participate in our own aggregation program.
Yeah, do you, just out of curiosity, do you know what the price per kilowatt hour is that we're signing up for?
Oh boy.
If not, it's not a big deal. I'm just curious.
I don't know it right off the top of my head. It's a 0.00 something number. But I don't remember what it is right off the top of my head.
That's fine. Thank you.
Jay, a real quick question with respect to general consumer use under the aggregation. We have nothing in place at this point. Is that correct, as a MVCC for what would be regular use or non-commercial use, or residential use, I should say?
That's correct, Brooks. I think when all this aggregation discussion took place a number of years ago, I think it was left to each individual city to decide how they were going to treat aggregation, whether they were going to go ahead with something or not. And so I think each city has kind of done their own thing in that respect. And I'm not sure right now that any of the MVCC cities have an aggregation program for residents.
Okay.
I'm not aware of any either.
I think people were concerned with the volatility of the market, and the market is certainly volatile. So I think they thought that, you know, where there might be opportunities to save money, there might also be opportunities where prices increased, and I think they really didn't want to deal with some of the issues associated with that. So I really think that's one of the reasons why many of the jurisdictions decided to kind of punt on the whole aggregation question.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there was also a change, just a little history, a little change in how utilities were coming up with prices. And one of the things that changed over the last, several years was that utilities had to purchase their electricity from the market. And if you had certain customers, you had to offer those rates up through an auction. And it was a reverse auction, so the lowest bid won. And that eventually ended up being 100% of your customers. So there was no longer a large gap between what, for example, Dayton Power and Light would offer versus anybody else. Those gaps really narrowed when they started going to the market and going through auctions. So that's part of it too. But that's a little inside baseball there. Do I have a motion for resolution 2020-007? Okay, thank you. And did we have a second on that one?
I'll second. I'll second.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And against, please say nay. No nays. Thank you very much. That resolution has passed. And we're going to move on to new business. And Sheila, I believe you have a financial report to discuss with us.
I don't have much. You've got a copy of the financial statement through July, and everything's going pretty good. We're low on our expenses, obviously because of everything going on, but we're moving along good. Does anyone have any questions?
I was wondering how the franchise fees this year look compared to last year, if you can make it.
They're holding steady. I'm surprised they're not down as low as I really anticipated that it would be. I'm pleased at this point. Our Spectrum franchise fees should be coming in the next week or two, and we'll know a lot more after those come in.
It's helpful. That's good to know.
I'd just like to say, Sheila, thank you very much for all the hard work that y'all have been doing for this audit. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And thanks to the staff. Everyone has been diligent with their paperwork. Jenny has kept everyone in line. It's been awesome. Thank you.
Very good. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? Financial situation? Report? I'm not seeing any. We're up for Executive Director's report.
Madam Chair, I just have one item. I know yesterday was a big deal for a lot of people around Ohio because the governor was going to share with everyone what was going to happen with high school sports in the fall. Fortunately, he decided to go ahead with that, and that made at least 2 people in our office very happy who have children who are on boys and girls soccer teams. I know that the guidelines are still pending as to what they're going to allow in terms of spectators. But one of the things that we're going to do this year, which is a change, is when it comes to high school football, we're going to do 2 games a week rather than just 1 game a week. So hopefully that'll be an added bonus for people. It'll stretch our staff a little thin, but we thought that we would try to produce 2 games a week, and that way some additional people have an opportunity to see kids play Friday night football. So I wanted to report that and let you know that as soon as we have the schedules available as to what games we plan on broadcasting, we will let you know.
And Jay, if I could follow up with that, being a former coach, due to the limitations they're going to put on from what I hear, most families, the rumor I'm hearing is 2 people per family. So that's all that'll be allowed in. I mean, that's a wonderful idea to go to 2 games. But I think as soon as you get that schedule, I agree with you that you got to get it out right away and put it out for the whole season if you can. Also, figure out ways to publicize that, not just, on the MVCC website, but I would have someone at your office get that to either the cities or the schools and really push that at the local level, because the normal football parent is not going to know to go to MVCC and look at it. And I can't, just to be brutally honest, I can't rely on the schools to get that out to their families either. In normal times, let alone all the things they have to worry about now. So I would push that.
That's an excellent suggestion, and we will certainly work through the public information officers at all the respective cities and also try to get a news release out to the media, so hopefully we can get it in print as well.
Great.
Jay, is there been any discussion or thought in looking at broadcasting sports other than football?
Well, you know, we've done basketball, and we will do basketball again this winter. But again, just in terms of it's a manpower and an equipment thing, and for us to do 2 football games takes a lot of man and woman power, and it also takes equipment as well. So we're somewhat limited in what we can do, but certainly we'll try to do as much as we can, but I really don't think we can do anything in the areas of soccer and some of the other sports, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that is great news, Jay. I think Rob's idea is great, and I think getting the word out is very important. So,
absolutely,
doing what we can. I like that. Okay, before I adjourn, does anybody have any comments, or does the board have any ideas or thoughts they want to share? Anything exciting?
Everybody stay well and have a good month.
Very true. Very true. Okay, well then I'm going to adjourn. Thank you everyone for participating today, and we will see you next month, most likely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Meeting's
Stay well.
adjourned.
Bye.
Bye-bye.